What's going on, guys? Class is in session. Today, on Friday the 4th, we have a deck list, and today we are doing the budget version, somewhat, of ss3 Reboot. Now, this is a fun leader to play. If you're new to the game, I definitely recommend picking him up. The reason being is he has a great mechanic in the game where you can ramp energy from your life, and he's one of the few decks that can actually do it. But what makes this leader great is on his awakened side, he can restand 3 energy at the end of every turn, as well as when he attacks he draws 1 card, and he also gains 5,000 power. And the way that he ramps on his front side is you bottom deck or place 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck, and you get to take 1 life and put it in your energy and rest mode. On top of that, when you awaken, you draw 1 card. So it's a really strong leader. 20k hits a lot of unisons in the game, as well as can get rid of big threats that your opponent may have. And going into the deck, we're going to start off with our unisons. So I chose to go with a 4-2 split, and the 4 unisons that we're playing is King Vegeta Giant Force. Just came out in the new draft box. And it's a really great card. For a +1, you get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 4 or less and return it to its owner's hand. So to add a marker to your unison, you get to bounce back any card. Given though it's not to the bottom of the deck, your opponent will have to reinvest resources to play that battle card. And the real reason why we're playing it is its -3 effect, or removing 3 markers from him, and an additional energy and X amount of energy. If our leader card is blue, which Son Goku is, we get to choose. So if we're really needing a hand advantage, we get to draw the X amount of cards of the energy we got to pay. And then if our opponent has a problematic board, we get to choose up to X of my opponent's battle cards, and you get to bottom deck them. The next unison we have is SS4 Son Goku, Protector of Earth. When he's played, my opponent cannot attack during their next turn unless they choose one of their own battle cards with energy cost 2 or more and place it at the bottom of their deck. And it doesn't stop leader swings or unison swings. However, to play a card and say that your opponent can't attack with battle cards is very strong, because in many decks out there, their battle cards are their finishers. And to say that you can't swing with that without investing one of your own cards is great. It has a -1 effect where you get to draw 2 and then put 1 card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. And then the -2 is very helpful of choosing all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and returning them to the owner's hand. So this touches everything except indestructible, and with that it just clears practically every field in the game. I'm gonna come back to this negate. It works with another card that we have in the deck, but the next card we play is Ultra Instinct Goku Kamehameha. I'm choosing to run 3 of these because my leader is blue, so we get the 15k power, and all of our energy is blue. So when we activate this on our turn for offense, we get to draw a card. So we don't lose any hand advantage with it, but we do gain 15,000 for an attack. And on my opponent's turn, we also gain that 15,000, but instead of drawing, we get to restand an additional energy. The next card we have is a tech card that I really enjoy. It's Chilled, the Intergalactic Marauder. The auto, we don't really play any Frieza clans with energy cost 3 or less, so we don't get to use that. However, the reason why we use this is for its Activate Battle. This card gets 6,000 power for each energy you have, and triple strike for the battle. And what's great about Son Goku is you max out at 6 energy, and you can't play anymore because of its permanent on its front and back side. However, with that alone, if you're at 6 energy and you swing with him and activate its battle for 3 energy, he becomes a 40k triple strike. And without his activate battle, he's just a 1-drop 4k. So your opponent is going to invest heavy resources to a card that may or may not pop off. and that always putting your opponent in a defensive position is great. The next card we have is our Negate Dimension Magic. Blue staple, get to negate an attack and restand 2 of your energy. And if you don't have any energy up, you can strike a life if you have 5 cards in your drop area, and you get a restand 2. Our 1-drop cantrip is East Kai Keeping Watch. It's great because when you play it, you can draw a card, and then during my opponent's turn, during our turn, if the opponent wants to counterplay or negate or play on our turn, they have to tax, like they get taxed by this card, and they have to put more investment into playing cards that they want. Sensu Bean, kind of like Dimension Magic. Again, the reason why it's 3 is I wanted to put another Kamehameha in there. But with that, you get 5k for the duration of the turn, can go to any of your cards, and you also get a restand 2. The super combo that we're playing is 1 Zeno Edge of Space. If your leader card is blue and your life is at 5 or less, when it's used in a combo, you may add 1 card from your energy to your hand. If you do, place 1 card from your hand in your energy. So with his the Son Goku leader's front side, we don't get to choose the card that we charge. However, Zeno says it's okay because later in the game, you can add that card back. And then you also have the choice of playing him for 1 energy and drawing a card. The main super combo that we're playing though is Vegeta Disciplined Warrior. If our leader is blue, we get a bottom deck 1 card, it gains 10,000 power, and we get a draw 2, so that's super helpful. In a lot of deck lists for Son Goku Reboot, they play the Android 18 from the draft box that for 3 energy you draw 2 cards. It doesn't have any protection, and in a meta where everything is counterplayable and your opponent can interact with a lot of your cards, it just didn't feel right casting 3, even though you might have drawn 2, you didn't get it off. But with Barrier of Hope, you still get to draw the 2 cards for 3 energy, and then you get to bounce back any of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring Barrier. So you can get rid of problematic cards as well as draw cards, and worst comes to worst, just like the Android card, you also get to give a leader or battle card 5k for a battle. So that just feels great. In worst scenario, it's a 5k combo. In the best, it's a draw 2 and removal. The negate, an additional negate we're playing is Son Gohan Baby's Minion. We get to negate the attack. We don't take advantage of the Overlord. However, when it is played, my opponent can't attack for the turn unless they choose 1 card from their hand and bottom deck it. So again, this is just taxing your opponent and saying, hey, if you want to do something, you're going to have to pay extra for that. To do another counterplay that we have / counter attack, we have UI Goku the Unstoppable. This is great for killing any game ender or boss monster because its skills can't be negated, and you get to return any card to your opponent's hand ignoring Barrier. So it gets around every card that has Deflect and Barrier, and if it's your opponent's turn, you get to draw a card. And with your leader's ability to restand 3 energy, you get to go all out on offense, and your leader says, not only can I go out on offense, I can also restand energy for defense. The next card we have is Vegeta Ready to Rumble. This is the ultimate version of Topo in my opinion. Even though you get a play, or though you have to play it for 4, what's so great about it is that it says your opponent can't attack unless they place 1 energy into their drop area to attack. And that's just so crazy because he's also a blocker. So not only do you say you can't attack, but you can attack 1 more time and you're going to lose an energy, and I'm just going to block it. And that just feels so great every time he comes down. Another counterplay that we're playing is Hit Deadly Vanguard. We get to pay 3 because it'll be our opponent's turn, so it's reduced by 2. So instead of a 5, he's a 3. And you get to bounce essentially 2 cards back, 5 or less, to your opponent's hand, and that's just great for board control. One of our early turns that we want to take is Janemba, because he has an activate main for 1 blue energy. If we have 3 or more energy, which if we go first, we can get our second turn, or technically our second turn in every single time we play. And if we have no battle cards on the field, we get to play it, and it's a 20k critical. Your opponent is forced to either negate or they're gonna have to combo. So it always feels great that I pay 1 energy for a 20k critical that forces my opponent in an awkward situation. We have unisons, so we have to have the unison counterplay, get to play it for free and bounce any card back to our opponent's hand. Not only can we counter with UI and hit, and now it's like, okay, you're going to spend resources for this, I'm going to stop it, I'm going to stop it again, and now I have the ultimate send back to your hand. One of our boss monsters for the deck is Master Roshi Maximum Muscle. One of the greatest blue finishers is Android 17 Turning the Tide. And what's so great about that card is you get to play it for 7, it has deflect, and you reset everything. What's great about Master Roshi though is he has critical and dual attack, and he's 25,000 power. So not only is he swinging twice at your opponent for critical, which is cards not going to their hand, but your opponent either has to negate or spend resources in their hand to make sure the critical doesn't go through. So it always feels great. And every turn he sticks on board, at the end of that turn, not only do you get to restand 3, but you get to draw an additional card. So what you're losing off your frontside leader throughout the game as it progresses, you're gonna just be making it more and more and more. Our next boss monster is ss3 Vegeta, Rise of the Super Warrior. We get to play for 6 because we ramp. We get to turn 6, or not turn 6, but essentially 6 energy sooner than a lot of other decks. And what's so great about this card is I get to look at the top 4 cards of the deck, and you get to look at them, and because every card in this deck is mono blue, we get to add 4, so we get to draw 4 off of him. And then not only do we get a swing with the 30k, but he has another auto that at the end of the turn we get to switch him back to active mode. So we get a 30k beat stick as well as a 30k defender, and it always feels great. So tied with this card, going back to the negate we had at the top, Flame Bullet. It's a new negate, and it says if your leader card is blue, negate the attack. Then choose one of your mono blue battle cards and switch it to active mode. So one of the things I enjoy doing is blocking the first attack with ss3, then flame bulleting the next attack, and choosing ss3 to restand him. And this also goes with the Vegeta blocker as well. So just some interactions that you have in the game. We can also restand Son Gohan Baby's minion, so there's multiple things that you can restand and protect it from your opponent. Because we're playing so many blue cards, Energetic Frenzy Kefla is a great card to put. We get to activate its main once it's called, and we get to draw 2 cards. Then, at the start of our opponent's next main phase, we get to restand 2 energy. So now, with Kefla on board and our leader, we get to restand 5 energy. So we can go all out on offense and restand so much on defense. And the way that we can play this 7 drop in our deck is that we can reduce the energy of this card by 1 in our hand for each blue battle card in the battle area. So because we're playing so many cards, essentially we can make this under 6, and now we get its awesome activate main for a lot cheaper than what we do. And for the closer of the deck, the only black card, so it's mostly 99% mono blue, and though it's hard to get this in your energy, it's not impossible. But what it is for 6 energy, we get an overwhelm 10, which is send 10 cards from our drop to our warp, and with that we get to play this guy. And what does it say? He has double strike, so he's swinging for 2 life. He's 30k, so he's hard to deal with. But what makes him so crazy is he says your opponent can't activate skills on cards other than their leader card until the beginning of our next turn. So not only do we shut down their defense, and we shut off their offense for the next turn if we don't get to kill him. And that, guys, just wanted to end the video. Don't forget to leave a like and comment down below what deck list you guys want to see next, or if, you know, next Friday, if you guys want to see a battle in between some of the decks that we post here on the channel, just let us know down in the comments. Alright, just wanted to let you guys know that class is dismissed, and have a great weekend.